Well, we have a beautiful day today, but you know, sometimes Mother Nature can be funny, because I've been wanting clouds in the sky to do a review on a Kase CPL filter. The last 6 days we've just had blue skies, no clouds. Great for photographing the Milky Way at night time, but for landscape photography, for testing our CPL filter, not that good. I really want some clouds in the sky to break up all that blue and also to give me better reflections in the water. So I'm at a local lagoon near my house. I've chosen this place because I've got beautiful reflections here, got some beautiful blue skies with some clouds that are just streaking across the sky. And for those who follow my channel, you remember that around I think 5-6 weeks ago, I did a review on the new Kase Revolution filters and how good these were. Well, what about if you don't want a set of magnetic filters? You'd just like a screw-on filter. A lot of companies have stopped upgrading their screw-on filters. Not so Kase. They contacted me a few weeks ago. We've just brought out the new version 3 of our Screw-on CPL filter that at the moment is available in 72, 77 and 82mm diameters for lenses. And I said, yes, great, because sometimes I don't want to have to put my magnetic filters, especially if I'm traveling with my family. I don't want to be putting my magnetic filters on there. I just want to be using a CPL filter when I'm traveling around and just adjust it when I need to. So they sent me out version 3 of their CPL filters, and I've tested it a couple of times and it looks great. Today I want to show you how good it is, and also to see the difference between this filter and the Revolution series CPL filter, because they've told me it's on par. That means that you're not getting an inferior product, and this is what people have commented, saying a lot of companies have gone to magnetic filters and they've left their screw-on filters standing idle. They haven't upgraded, whether it's a CPL filter, whether it's a polarizing filter, whether they're ND filters. They've just left these types of filters behind. Today I want to show you how good this filter is. Now, of course, I'm using my Nikon Z6 II and I'm using the Nikon 24 to 85mm lens. Let's take some photos and compare with the CPL filter working and also without it. I'll take some photos and also take some video to show you when I screw it on how the CPL filter works, because you'll just see that it will darken the foreground or it will darken the sky, and that's what it's supposed to do. But as it darkens the image, what it's doing is it's cutting out the glare. This gives you an idea of my view at the moment. I'm recording on the Z6 II. I've got some trees just to the left of the frame here. It's just framing the image very nice. I've got a dead tree in the water here, and somebody's thrown a plank of wood on the top here. It actually just adds character to this branch. And then I've got trees on the other side of the lagoon and blue sky with clouds above. Let's put on the CPL filter. Before we take photos, I'll just take a bit of video. Got the camera going now. The filter is set to neutral. There's no real neutral mark on a CPL filter. You just keep turning around when you see that there's a lot of reflections. Then you know that your CPL filter isn't doing anything. You can see now, I've got the tree in the foreground, the trees on the side. I've got a lot of reflections, and the camera is all set to manual. This is the only way I can show you. Also, my white balance is set to 5,000. This is very crucial for me as a content creator when I'm reviewing any type of filter, because if it's on auto white balance, you're not going to get a clear perception of the color cast of that filter, because the auto white balance will compensate for it. But having it at a set Kelvin at 5,000, which is daylight, that way you can see if there's color cast. Let's turn the filter around now, and you can see foreground's getting a bit darker. There. Now we can see that the foreground is much darker. Let's take some photos with this CPL filter. So my histogram is showing me that I'm correctly exposed. The CPL filter is set to neutral. I'm at 100th of a second, f8, ISO 100. Let's take a photo. Beautiful. Now we're going to turn the CPL filter. There. We'll take a photo. Now let's take a look between the two of them. So this is without the CPL filter. This is with the CPL filter. You can see that it's much darker. What I should have done is taken a photo without the CPL filter on altogether. I've got to readjust my settings now, because understand that a CPL filter will darken your image. Most of the time around 3/4 of a stop, depending on the filter. So our settings are 1/160th of a second, f8, ISO 100, there. Now let's put it back on, and we'll take 2 photos. We'll bring back to correct exposure. It's 1/80th of a second at f8. This is with the CPL filter on neutral. Now let's adjust the CPL filter, 1/50th of a second with the CPL filter working. Now let's review the 3 images. So the first image here is without the CPL filter on the camera. The second image is with the CPL filter on, but in a neutral position. It's not doing anything. And the third photo here shows the CPL filter cutting out all the glare on the water. This is one filter that you can't really mimic in post-processing. In post-processing, like, we can add more color and all that, but the CPL filter just does things that you cannot do in post-processing. Something that I've covered recently when I did a YouTube video for using a CPL filter for wildlife photography is that it boosts your colors. It brings the colors more vibrant. They make it more lifelike. Your colors aren't bland, because the CPL filter cuts a lot of that glare, and the greens are greener, the blues are bluer. You just get so much more detail in your image without any post-processing. That's something else that you have to think about. Now I'm going to take the screw-on filter off and put the magnetic Revolution CPL filter on. Now, what I forgot to mention is when I do reviews like this, what you're seeing are the JPEG photos straight off my camera. My picture profile is set to portrait, which gives me a little bit of extra contrast, saturation, but that applies to all the photos, so everything stays the same. You can tell I'm beside a lagoon with a lot of birds around. We've got rainbow lorikeets squawking above me here. On the other side, we have got so many corellas looking to nest, because this is their nesting period. Here is the Kase Revolution CPL filter. We'll just put it on, it's magnetic, just clips on. This is one of the major advantages of having a magnetic filter, because they just clip on, and believe me, trying to get them off isn't easy. I've got to get my fingernail in there and take it off. But sometimes a screw-on filter is much better, and that's why I was very happy to test out the Screw-on CPL filter, because I'm waiting for Kase to produce the 95mm version 3 Screw-on CPL filter, so I can use that for my wildlife photography. Now let's take a photo without the CPL filter on the camera, 1/160th of a second, still f8, ISO 100. We'll put it on, we'll adjust the filter, and we'll put it in the neutral, 1/100th of a second. So we've lost 60th of a second. You have to remember that. Now let's turn it around, 1/60th of a second. So we've gone from 1/160th of a second without the filter on the camera, 1/100th of a second with the CPL filter in neutral, now 1/60th of a second with the CPL filter on. Let's review these 3 photos. So the first one here, no filter on. Second one with the filter in neutral. The third one with the CPL filter working to reduce a lot of the glare. Now let's look at these 2 images. So on the left is without the CPL filter on the camera, and on the right is with the CPL filter. You can see that there is very little white balance color shift, but what you can see is there is a lot more color in the images. So now let's see the difference between version 3 of the Screw-on Polarizing Filter from Kase and the magnetic Revolution Polarizing Filter from Kase. So the first image here is the version 3 Screw-on filter, and the second image is the Kase magnetic Revolution Polarizing Filter. Can you see a difference? I can't. This shows you that Kase has stepped up the mark again, and they haven't left landscape photographers in the lurch that just want a screw-on filter. If you found value in this video, give it a big thumbs up. I'll put all the details in the description below. If you have any comments or feedback about the Kase version 3 Polarizing Filter, leave it in the comments below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.